Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how TEQ Bardock does in the Cell Max event. Now, full disclaimer, as always, the Cell Max event is an event that is best taken on by units that have high levels of damage reduction, guard, or evasion, or a mixture of both. It's an incredibly tough event, and yeah, it definitely can challenge the majority of units. I think most players will understand that it's definitely quite challenging, and it's definitely going to be something that causes players a lot of headaches, and not every unit's naturally able to handle it defensively. We're specifically looking at a 55% TEQ Bardock, and Bardock is pretty decent. I'm not gonna say he's a Cell Max buster. He's not like a unit that absolutely destroys Cell Max, but he's pretty decent. He's definitely a second slot option. The big thing about Bardock is I don't think he's a first slot unit. At least for the Cell Max event, he's not a first slot unit. He's definitely quite good though. There's a couple of things I do like about him. So the first one is the ability to see super attacks. Obviously it's kind of a little bit, yeah, how can I say, it's a little bit kind of debatable in terms of like how good he is as a unit, because of the fact that, you know, for the most part when it comes to Cell Max, defense is king. So Bardock's defense is not enough at any point really to take on a Cell Max super attack. Like, that's just never gonna happen. Now that doesn't mean that he's bad in any way, shape or form. In fact, he's more than perfectly fine for the majority of content. The big thing is just that it is something that he's not going to be able to handle. The big test will be whether he can handle normal attacks, and now Bardock can definitely do that. Even at 55% he can handle normals, but only after his super attack. So the way Bardock works is he has 150% attack and defense, but he also gains 40% attack and defense up to 120% max. He also greatly raises his attack and defense on his super attack. So what you want to ideally do with Bardock, because he has built-in attack effective against all types, because he has built-in crit chance, you ideally want to build him with additionals, because even if you get only one rainbow orb, you are kind of maximizing your offensive capabilities as well as maximizing your defensive capabilities. Bardock as a lead leads a pretty strong team for this. He's got a Goku's family lead. Obviously that encompasses some really strong options, units like AGL, LR Gohan, TEQ Goku, Super Saiyan Goku. It encompasses Gohan, Beast Gohan. It's got quite a few units. The big thing is you do want to Gokan team to fully access Bardock's kit. Obviously his entrance animation is pretty cool, but it also accesses a pretty important part of his kit, the ability to foresee super attacks and an attack boost for the first couple turns. One good thing about Bardock is he definitely does not take time to get up to speed. So what a lot of units can struggle with in the Cell Max event is the ability to get up to speed. Sometimes it can take units a bit longer than one might think to build up, and because the first two phases of the Cell Max event, the physical and the strength phase, are not distinctly difficult, units actually can fall behind on their pacing simply because they don't get strong enough quick enough. Now Bardock doesn't have that problem. Just 3 attacks and he's in, and you can generally get those done before the TEQ before the TEQ phase. So that's really good. I think overall that's honestly a pretty good sign for Bardock. I think he's really solid from that perspective. His damage is also pretty good. He's obviously got that ability to crit, as we mentioned before. He's got that ability for attacks effective against all types. He does tend to have enough abilities offensively to really look impressive and to look solid. it's just whether bringing him is kind of worth it. I think from a team leader point of view, Bardock is like okay. As a unit, I don't think he's necessarily like got a fantastic leader skill. I don't think it's terrible by any means. I think it's decent, but I don't think it's, you know, distinctively super impressive. It's just solid. It's a very solid like ability. His leader skill covers a lot of bases. There's no one really on storied figures that I think kind of crunches the Cell Max event, but in general Bardock is pretty good himself, and you can bring some interesting options. I think Int Farsha is probably as interesting an option as it gets. Even though that does sound a little bit weird, I do think that it's as interesting as it gets because of the fact that she has evasion and she can, you know, obviously buff up the rest of the team. And obviously Intora is actually a very good option as well, and she has 6 links with Bardock, so that's a very good combination to run. He's a great unit to run in the Cell Max event, so yeah, that definitely does count. But yeah, beyond that, I think that's basically it in regards to like what makes Bardock really kind of sing as a unit. I will say I think TEQ Bardock is in a good position as a unit. I think he's got a nice free-to-play accessible team. I think he as a unit is good enough to assist players in hard content. I don't think he will carry players through hard content. His defense will ultimately let people down if you try to build solely on Bardock. But if you get his accompanying pieces, he can look really good. And if you get the right Goku's family unit, he can look really good as well. So he's got the leader skill and kind of the versatility to really be good long term. You know, any unit with Saiyan lineage, things like that, tend to last pretty well. Saiyan lineage, prepared for battle, very good link set, solid unit. And yeah, I just think in general, a very solid option. Obviously he has his limitations like any units in the game, but I think if you pull Bardock, you'll be pretty happy. And you can see, obviously, depending on the situation, he does do pretty well defensively. Worst case scenario, after Super 67k, if you have him fully built up and with a bit of support on the rotation, he will tank single digits at 55% after a Super and after he's fully built up, which is pretty good. At least I think so. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, you know, to each their own, but yeah, I think it's a very solid contribution from Bardock. I think overall, you know, if you get that out of him, I think you're pretty happy as just in general. Like, I don't think there's a reason to be unhappy if you get this level of performance out of Bardock. Like I said, he's not going to carry you through Cell Max, but you should never really judge a unit on how they do in Cell Max. So yeah, but that's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.